Welcome back to Creators Dementia Season 2. And with me today, I have a very special person. So just wait till after the music cues and you will get to find out awesome things about this author. Welcome back to Creators Dementia Season 2. I am Bradley and I am here with the coolest, most awesomest, most famous person in my eyes, Dana Woods, aka the Lady of the Woods. Dana, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Dana. I have been a writer my entire life. I currently am a mom of 3 children, which means that writing is not as frequent as it was when I was an angsty teenager and needed to get all of my emotions out. I work in an Amazon facility overnight, and so that takes a lot of my creative time as well because jobs and stuff.
And y'all should be grateful because she woke up after a 3rd shift just to do this. So if you don't like this episode, then it sucks to be you because this is going to be a very fun one. All right. So, I got dust all over my stuff. Try and clean it off. I ran out of air. All right. So besides working at Amazon, of course, being the are you supervisor now?
Of some? Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Okay. I supervise all the people on my floor and take care of all of their needs. And I am constantly told that I am amazing with my people because nobody else does the job quite like I do.
There we go.
And I'm like, if you guys would take care of your people, everybody would love you too. Like, it's not hard. Just love people and take care of them.
Yeah, apparently that's just hard for most people to do these days. It sucks.
Don't understand.
No.
Don't understand that.
They're all out for number one, and unfortunately, number one is themselves instead of other people, like it's supposed to be.
And see, I am number one because I take care of my people first. And then I talk about, like, what's your rate production and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, not a lot of people have that mindset, which causes what we have now is a low production of workforce.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so for those that's actually listening on Podbean, Spotify, or any other audio, of course, they're not going to be able to see. They'll just be able to hear. So what the people on YouTube are going to see, as well as what I'm seeing right now, Dana is in full-blown cosplay, which is awesome. So, Dana, go ahead and tell the people that's just listening instead of watching what you're wearing and what the character is that you have portrayed to everybody out there.
Steampunk elf. I don't really have a character that goes with the steampunk elf. I've got my pointed ears on. I have a brown corset, and my shirt kind of has like extra flowy sleeves so that I have like the elf look going on with my ears. I started dressing up in steampunk cosplay just to go to the grocery store when they shut down everything during 2020, right? And so I like, they can lock us up at home, but they can't take away our spirit. And so I went to the grocery store in steampunk apocalypse because I was going to have fun. And we were living through a plague. And I was like, what better time to cosplay for a plague than when you're living in one? And so that's kind of when the steampunk elves started to come around. And I've loved doing it ever since.
Yeah. When I was trying to find a picture on your Facebook to advertise this episode, of course, I picked the one with you in the elf ears.
Yeah.
And Mary goes, of course, if some of you don't know, Mary is my wife. I always just say my wife. But Mary goes, is she going to wear the elf ears for the podcast? And I said, well, I'm going to ask. And she said, yes. She said, because she pulls those off so well, it's ridiculous.
Aw, tell her thank you. That's very sweet of her.
I was messaging her before I got on here, and she says, so you about to do the interview? And I said, yeah. And she goes, is Dana going to wear the elf ears? I said, she's supposed to. She's going to pick out a pair. She goes, yay.
Yeah. She'll get to see them when she sees the video.
Do you have a pair that's actually pierced?
I do not.
Okay. Someone. Okay, it must be somebody else. I think that'd be pretty cool just to pierce the top of them.
Yeah, no, it would be. I even asked a plastic surgeon once what it was like to get them actually pointed.
Yeah.
Like, don't mess with your ears. People all the time come and get ears that look like yours. So your
Mm.
ears are perfect. Don't do anything to them. I was like, okay, I won't.
All right, cool. I'll just occasionally glue some ears to myself.
Yeah. Well, okay, so these are made out of latex, all right? I'm allergic to latex. I'm severely allergic to latex. So I was wearing them at work the other day, which is where you got that picture because I had them
Mm-hmm.
on at work. Um, and the back of my ears by midway through the night are just burning and I feel like they're red. And I was like, I need to take these off now. I can wear them for short periods, but I can't wear them for long periods. So I need to find a pair that's not made of latex.
Is there any type of coating you could actually put on the ears where the latex does not touch your skin?
About that. I'm trying to figure that out. But see, latex is hard to cover
Mm.
because stuff peels off of it. And
Mm.
so I don't know what I would use. I'll have to figure it out, but I will eventually.
Get some rubber cement and just kind of coat it.
There we go. That would be a good idea.
It just might become a little heavier to put on your ears, though.
Maybe. Yeah. If I just put it on the back part where it touches my ear,
Yeah.
it'd be okay.
See, I'd pull out my elf ears, but I got my headphones on so that way I could hear everything. I was gonna join you.
Yeah.
I was gonna join you with it. I was like, well, that ain't really gonna work. So I just brought my steampunk goggles out.
Yeah. They're very nice.
Like I said, we got the same pair.
We do.
Did you get like a whole bunch of them for a deal on Amazon?
Thought about doing that, but they weren't going to show up in time. And so, no, I did not. I just bought these.
See, I've got like a copper, like a very red tinted, pure black, pure silver, and then when I got my top hat, it came with another silver pair of goggles. So I've got like 6 or so in my kids' room on top of their TV shelf.
Nice.
So many goggles.
That's a lot of goggles.
Mm-hmm.
I just have. I like the bronze ones personally.
I do too. I just love the detail they got in them.
Yeah, they're really nice.
Like I know they're plastic, but
You can't even tell. They're still so cool.
So besides working at Amazon and being a full-time mom and being an awesome friend to, of course, me and Lori, two other most important people besides your kids in your life.
Yes, you are.
You are also, of course, the admin, one of the admins for the Phoenix Quill, which is our writing group that we are in and that we try to inspire people to continue writing with their dreams and stuff like that. So I know I don't think I actually sent you this question beforehand, but I just want you to tell people exactly why the Phoenix Quill was a priority for you.
A really long story, and so I'm going to give you the short version.
That'll
The
work.
short version is this group of people many of the people have been together for several years because we all started out in another group together. Um, and I wanted to keep the spirit of you guys are awesome and amazing alive and continue to encourage people and to build people up and to grow people up. And I wanted to have a fun atmosphere and environment. And so when the original group that we came out of was created, I wanted to help like lead in a way that was strong and good and I wanted to create an environment that was going to be healthy for people to like grow in. And so the way that I lead at work, where I'm, constantly building people up for greater things, is exactly the same way that I lead in the Phoenix Quote, where I want to grow everybody up for greater things, and I have vision for people to like be awesome and stuff like that. So.
See that was one of the reasons why when you asked me to become an admin for the new section, I was like, well, heck yeah. I said, because I mean, it's a family. I mean, it is honestly. I mean, I know we got a lot of stragglers, but I mean, I know a lot of people are, either shy or confused about exactly what they want to do when it comes to writing and all that fun stuff. But the ones that do participate, besides the ones that's left, um, it's I don't know. It's like I said, it just feels like a whole nother family, and that's why when Tales from Quillandia came out, and we will get to that, when it was offered and came out, I'd like to say I was one of the most excited people on this earth when it officially was out there for everybody to have.
Okay, you're gonna have to repeat what you said though, because I didn't hear it, and it sounded like it was really good and heartfelt,
Yeah.
heartwarming.
I was just saying how, like the Phoenix Quill is literally an actual family, and
Yes.
when the Tales from Quillandia came about, and everybody was pitching in and putting in stories, I think I was like one of the most. I'd like to think I was one of the most excited people for the book because it's just I don't know. It was every story in there. It felt like home.
It does. It really does.
Like it's ridiculous. I never thought I could, besides my own stuff, I never thought I could get that from another book. And then I saw all our entire, well, not the entire family, but the ones that are really outgoing, and they put all their stories in that book. I was just like, oh, I love it. It was just ridiculous. But yes, I know I ramshacked you with that question, but I'll actually get to the list.
Flexible.
So I'm gonna start with. So tell everybody, why do you go by Lady of the Woods?
All right. So I have always loved the forests and the woods and getting lost in them. And I have always loved fae and fantasy and all things outdoorsy. And so becoming the Lady of the Wood was um, based on how much I love to be out in nature and just walk through the forest and imagine that I am um, the queen kind of like this fae fantasy world, and all of the leaves come to life, all the flowers come to life. Like it's a magical experience to
Yeah.
just go outside and take a walk in the woods.
It really is. Like if you get so stressed or have that high tense of anxiety when you either just got home from work or just woke up wrong, you could literally go outside barefoot, step in the grass, and it feels like all the energy just gets pulled from you. Yeah, I never understood why, but that's why I don't go barefoot often. But if I do
No.
get that way, I will go outside off my front porch and just stand in the grass for about 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's a really grounding experience, and it just helps for a creative. It really helps to just kind of connect with all of the. This is gonna sound the way it's gonna sound, but take it. It helps
Just do it.
to
It's
connect
okay.
with all of the energy around you that is outside, and I don't know. It's really just refreshing.
Oh, I saw another zombie apocalypse member.
There's another one.
I
Yes.
saw it.
Well, yeah, the little minion has woken up from her nap.
I want a nap. As adults, we're frowned upon when we take naps. It's sad.
Well, see, I sleep all day anyway, so
You get the good nap.
I get the good nap.
Yes. So, what inspired you to become a writer?
So I grew up on the Hobbit cartoon, and that was one of the most magical, exciting things that I ever knew of in my entire life. And I would watch it over and over and over again. And Bilbo Baggins would get visited by Gandalf, and all of these little dwarves would show up, and they would sing about this lonely mountain and these really enchanting voices. And then they'd go off on this adventure, and I was like, I really love this and I want to know more about this. I knew I was a writer when my little brother had a favorite book, and I didn't know what to do for him for his birthday, so I'm like 7 or 8 years old, I don't remember, and I wrote him his favorite book and drew like little illustrations and gave it to him for his birthday. So I've always been writing But the thing that really, really, really inspired me to set out on the journey of writing was most definitely the Lord of the Rings. And that's cliche to say because everybody starts with Lord of the Rings when they go into fantasy, right?
Yeah.
But that's because it's the godfather of fantasy. It
Right. I mean,
really is.
if it's true, it's true. Ain't nothing you can do about it.
Between that and Narnia, I love all things fantasy because this world sucks. It really does.
Yeah.
And it's easier for me to make stuff up and use my imagination. I like to call myself Anne Shirley in the flesh. Like I've had friends go, "Yeah, yep, that's true."
Yeah. There
So
goes Anne Shirley. We,
yeah,
we know it. It's fine.
you know what? There she is.
Reincarnated right
Um,
there.
so I just love to get lost in my imagination, and I figuring out how to get that onto the page
Yeah.
is why I write.
Yeah. So, speaking of getting words on the page, we are going to go ahead and address because I'm anticipating this book, Dana, Lady of the Woods. I need this book, just like Larry's book, Fates. I need that one, and I need yours. So tell me about the Dragon Child.
Think about the Dragon Child online because it is not published yet,
Right.
and it's a market that I want to corner. I am putting fantasy and steampunk into the same world
Hmm.
in a happy, shiny kind of way, as opposed to how Amazon did the one where steampunk and dark fantasy is all together
Mm-hmm.
in their show. I don't remember what it's called. It's Carnival, something about a carnival. I don't remember. But I want to
Carnival
integrate.
Row.
Yes, that
Yes.
Carnival Row.
Yes.
I want to integrate lighter fantasy, and steampunk into the same world. And so I have this alchemist character who he just wants to open his store. Okay, that's all he wants. That's his dream is to run his little shop in this little village that he lives in and not have a huge exciting life. But he gets dropped with this um poor, helpless little being and ends up going across the world to hit. He learned most of his magic from a dragon. So he goes to this dragon to ask her what he should do with this poor little being. And his life is basically changed forever. So, it's really fun and a growing journey for him. I'm trying to make sure that you see that. I have airship pirates, I have dragons, I have dirigibles, I have magic, I have I'm going to incorporate other fantasy characters into it at some point. So I don't know, maybe on another continent there are steampunk elves, but
Boom.
yeah, I haven't decided yet. So this world is a lot of fun.
Any more information you want to talk about on the Dragon Child?
Let's see. Left off, dragon stuff, fantasy characters. I think that's it. So originally it was going to be a standalone novella. Sorry,
Novelette.
novella. And then all of a sudden one of the other characters that shows up in the story, he's a really unique character and I like him a lot. And so one of the other characters that shows up in The Dragon Child is I have these half breed characters from dragon to human, and they're called the Dragonborn, and runs a store in one of the other towns that they go to visit, and their city, their town, has an exposition every year where they all the wonders of the world come. You know, like the great state fair in St. Louis, where everybody would come from all the way around the world to go to this great big giant exposition. There's one of those in my little steampunk world, um, and he is an inventor. Instead of using magic, he wants to like create with the mechanical and stuff. And so and then he like enchants little things, and he just likes creating rather than just using magic because he can. And he is gonna get his own little story where he shows off at the exposition.
So, big question. When do you
Yes.
plan to have this out?
Oh my God. The editing stages right now, and because I work 4 nights a week, that makes it difficult to
Yeah.
like full time edit. I do have my manuscript right here with my map.
Mm.
Like I
Mm.
printed it out, put it together, and
Mm.
I'm on page 39 of 93, something like that, going back through my edits. So
Mm-hmm.
it has been a slower process because I was working on maps for a client,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt like when I had work lingering over my head, I couldn't do my own stuff.
Yeah.
And so I finally got his out of the way, and now I'm working on editing my book. And I really do want to have it out.
I'm pretty sure we all do. I mean, come on.
I know. I've only been advertising it since I started writing it in 2020.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
when you showed me and Lori like a proof of your cover, it was
Yeah.
just like, oh, hurry!
I must have that.
I must
Yeah.
have it.
I love that cover, by the way, too. And
Yes.
I'm really thinking I'm going to go ahead and use it.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time I'd ever painted a dragon,
Yeah.
and she looks beautiful. She looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the characters in the airship that are not quite what they should look like.
Right, but
I keep editing that, but I am a huge fan of having a scene from the cover or a scene from the book on the cover.
mm-hmm.
Like that is what I want, and so that is a scene from the book,
Yeah.
and I want it on the cover.
It's a lot like on my second book. I took that picture and it's basically a scene in that book. But so I agree. It's just awesome to have just a little bit of your story. As soon as someone picks it up, they're like, "Oh, okay. So I wonder where this is at." Just makes it even better.
Right? Well,
So
I first fell in love with that concept when I was reading the Lord of the Rings books because my dad has the box set. It's got the green, the blue, the yellow, and the red book. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and so each of them have a picture of the cover on the front of them. So the Lord of the Fellowship of the Ring has the Mines of Moria, like the door on the front of it. The Two Towers has probably the Tower of Isengard on the front of it. I think it was. And then the third book has the statue in the forest with the trefoil growing around the
Mm-hmm.
head of the king on the front of that
Hmm.
book.
Hmm.
And so I was like, I want to know where all these are from. And so you read through, and then you're like, oh, there it is.
Yeah. So yes, that is one thing I forgot to mention when advertising you to Facebook and everybody, as well as introducing the episode, that you are a map maker. And I do
Map
not.
maker.
Yes, a map maker, a map creator, a world creator. I don't. My bad.
That's okay.
Because
And
I mean, the map on the Tales from Quillandia, holy crap!
thank you.
I mean, I made it. Of course, I know I put it on a bookmark, and of course, I still got some of them. But every time I go over there to my bookshelf behind me, and I pick up that bookmark, and I'm like, oh my god, it's just awesome.
Yeah, the maps made it in the book because Tyler asked me specifically for them.
Yes.
He's like, Dana, you have to make a map. And I was like,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
excited.
I love the
I made
map.
2 maps.
Like, I wish I could map, like, develop a map, but I know I can't. So
Okay.
kudos.
Thank you.
But yes, Dana's map making abilities, I've not ever seen it unless it was in a D&D book. It is remarkable.
Thank
Oh
you.
my god.
You can have a link to my page so other people can find me.
Yes. When all this is over, make sure you can, of course, send it to me on Discord or Facebook. I mean, it doesn't matter. But
Yeah,
yes, I will put it in the description of the episodes. That way, people, if they want to look at your maps or need you to develop them a map, boom, there we go.
Yep.
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 That's a dragon child, which
Yeah.
we are all anticipating.
Yeah.
How did you come about creating your story for Tales from Quilindia?
Ah, yeah. So, actually, my story came about from a roleplay session that we had. So, my story came about through a roleplay session that we had in the middle of an evening on a Friday night, I think it was. We started our group up for the anthology, and then there were a lot of people that were struggling with inspiration, and I was struggling a little bit with inspiration. I'd started 3 different stories, but none of them wanted to go anywhere. And then all of a sudden, so my story came about in a role play session, because we were trying to find inspiration, and Tiffany um, said something about mandrakes.
Mm. Yep.
I was like, "Oh, you should invite them to karaoke night."
Yep.
And she's like, "Yeah, that's a great idea." And from there, I was like, "I know exactly what I'm going to write about." And so that's how the story about like this singing mandrake in the mountains came to be. And they wanted Tiffany, or the Nether Fae wanted Tiffany because she smelled good, and they were going to eat her, and so that's where that came from,
Yeah.
was a role play session. And after I knew what I was using for the story, the rest of it fell in place, and I picked out different characters I was going to use, and I asked that person directly what they would have done in this situation. And so when Kelly is like, I would do it like this, I wrote it exactly the way that Kelly said he was going to do it, because he's our farmer, and
Mhm.
getting rid of a mandrake is something a farmer would do. And
Yep.
that's how that all came about. And
Mm.
it was a lot of fun to put together, using the each person in their
Mhm.
specific character to bring them all together.
Yeah. I th- when I put my story in it, that was the one thing I tried to do, was at least mention everybody once, and that was actually kind of difficult.
Yeah, it is.
Why?
It was. That's why I was like, oh, look, a karaoke moment. We'll just have everybody at the brew and
Yeah.
get together to have this moment at the brew.
All right. So now, I want to ask you, if you like, what is your most interesting writing quirk that you developed ever since you started writing?
Told that my use of the English language makes my fantasy stories sound like Jane Austen novels. I'm very proper about how I use my English. I feel like elves should have proper English. And so, because of how I write their sentences, and because of how I work to ensure that they use, correct language
Mm-hmm.
and have a higher kind of
Oh yeah.
like intelligence, uh, my high fantasy reads like Jane Austen. Like, well, okay, I guess that's a thing. But I grew up on black and white movies, and I love Jane Austen, and I love period films, and
Yeah.
so it makes sense.
Yeah. who uh who wrote the Scarlet Letter?
Nathaniel Hawthorne.
So a friend of mine said that my first book reminded them of that author.
Okay.
I didn't know if I could take it as a compliment or not, because it was like, because they said I started off with detail and then I just kind of went flatline with detail, just like he does in the
Okay.
Scarlet Letter. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay. I mean, thanks for comparing me to a world known author, but now I kind of feel bad because you didn't get the detail I wanted you to.
Right. Right.
But I've done
Um,
better.
that's another thing that I like to have in my stories is energy. So
Mm-hmm.
even when I have something really dark happen, I want to have good energy come out of like the next scene or whatever.
Yeah.
So, my characters regularly come in with some kind of comic relief.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I was reading the Terry Goodkind, sort of truth series, and I picked up book 11 or 6. I think it may have been 5 or 6. and that's where I get 11 from. There's so many of them. I don't know which one I picked up. And I write similarly to Terry Goodkind and how he tells his stories. He has lots of character interaction,
Mm-hmm.
unlike Robin Hobb and R.A. Salvatore, and there's a couple of other authors that just like describe all these things that are happening, but not like a lot of character
Mm-hmm.
interaction. So Terry Goodkind is really, really good at his character interaction. I read the stories for the characters, and I need that. I had started reading Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time book, the first one, and there were so many people introduced in the first scene that I couldn't sort out what was going on.
I've
And then
heard
I
about
didn't
that too.
have time to finish reading that. So that was the first experience that I got out of it. And so I like to have the balance of the characters and the balance of the description.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I heard like they did make the Wheel of Time movie, right? Is it on
yes,
Netflix? It's on Netflix or something like that, ain't it?
yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
They said that it is okay. They said
Okay,
the book is, of course, most book a book is usually better than the movie, regardless, most of the
yes,
time. But they said that they should have done the Wheel of Time so much better.
yeah,
I
yeah,
haven't seen it. I've not even read the Wheel of Time. I've heard good things and I've heard bad things, but like I'm a supernatural type reader, so
yes.
maybe I actually should dive into that just to expand my horizons because I do read Stephen King, but
Okay,
yeah, I should
but
probably
Wheel
look
of
into
Time
it.
and Stephen King are not anything alike.
No, not at all, not at all. But I go from like my favorite Stephen King book is The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. Not many people know that book, but I read it when I was in high school, and it was just a straight through read because I fell in love with the main character. She was awesome, and the fact that he mentioned the Coke Surge in it, and of course Surge disappeared for a long time, that just made it even better. But yeah, Stephen King, and of course I read Robert Paulson. No, Gary Paulson. Robert Paulson's from Fight Club. Blah. Gary Paulson, the Transall Saga. That's a good one too. But yeah, I need to expand more. That's what I'm trying to say. I need to expand my reading more.
Yeah, I, I understand. I'm one of those very picky people. I pick my people. I pick my books. I pick my like
Mm-hmm.
entertainment, and then I kind of stick with those things.
Right.
And so I don't enjoy reading a ton of things. I don't enjoy watching a ton of things.
Mm-hmm.
I look for specific things, and those are what I enjoy having all the time.
Yep. Just like that. I if I could watch The Office from sun up to sundown, I would.
Yeah,
Mm,
that's your thing.
yes.
Mine is Once Upon a Time.
See, I tried Once Upon a Time. The main actress, I don't know, she kind of got on my nerves, but the storyline is awesome.
Yes.
I should give it
Yes.
another shot.
Okay, so my trouble with Once Upon a Time was the writers were pantsers. They had no idea what they were doing, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things conflicted. But they'd have a really, really. The first season was awesome. Half of the next season was awesome, and then it was just kind of like a throw off thing. They'd
Mm.
have a really, really good half season. Really, like, what are you doing half season?
Mm. Yeah.
So, and then they ended up going to the underworld, and the only reason why they did that was so they could use Hades. Like, that's the only reason why they did that. And I'm just kind of like, okay, like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Nice segue. Like, I even tried to watch Grimm. That show, it was good, but I couldn't get past like maybe the third episode because it was just a same repeat.
Yeah.
He's mad, he's sad, he's happy. He's mad, he's sad, he's happy. I was just
I
like,
felt like that with The Flash. Like, the first season of The
Yeah.
Flash was really good. The next season of The Flash was, oh my gosh, the same storyline all over again.
Yeah.
And then the third one starts out with, oh my gosh, the same storyline all over again. I was like, I'm just going to stick to Arrow and watch
Yes.
Arrow and see Flash when he shows up in the Arrowverse. Cause,
Right.
No.
Yeah, and then they finally ended the Arrowverse. Flash is
Okay.
gone. Yeah, like I think Flash had its final season, so I think it's
Alright.
all done now.
It's all done.
Yeah.
All right. I heard that Arrow started getting politically correct. And
Mm.
I was like, oh, that's really sad because I really like Arrow.
Yeah.
But,
Steve.
2016, that was the year everything started getting
Yeah.
politically.
Yeah. Got to watch what you say. Apparently, I don't understand it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I do love Arrow
Yeah.
so
Stephen
much.
Amell. Like I loved Green Arrow in Smallville. Justin Hartley. I thought he did fantastic, and then I know we're getting off topic, but oh well, it's Arrow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Even if we don't use this segment.
yeah. Oh no, we will. Trust me, it's Arrow. But
All right.
when I heard that Stephen Amell was going to play Arrow in the whole its own series, I was like, well, why didn't they just bring Justin Hartley back? I don't even know who this guy is. And then I watched the first episode of Arrow, and I'm like, okay, I get it. He's good.
Right.
He's good.
That was good. I love my Men in Green. I love the
Yes.
Green Arrow. I love Robin Hood, and I love Loki.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Cannot go wrong with either one of them.
No.
Okay, so we'll get back on topic and then we'll play Stray Away again. Who knows? But so what is a new habit that you? I'm trying to read my question from far away. Did you pick up any new habits when you decided to become a writer? There we go. Yeah,
Probably.
I know. It's a toughie.
Yeah. Like, I started writing hardcore when I was like 14. So, like, my entire personality now
Mm-hmm.
is springing to life, from when I was 14. I've always loved acting. I have been more of the kind of person that will like randomly burst out into song or randomly use a quote. Like I love Lewis Carroll and Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland is my favorite book. Okay, and there is not a line that cannot be used from Alice in Wonderland for any situation at all in real life. Like, so something will happen. The other day we were walking up the road, okay, and I turned around and I looked at my middle daughter and I said, "Will you walk a little faster?" said the whiting to the snail. "There's a porpoise behind us and he's treading on our tail." But I sang it like in the version of Alice in Wonderland that has Gene Wilder, Miranda Richardson,
Yeah.
and all the big people, Martin Short, the Alice in Wonderland version with all of the music and stuff and all the songs and the huge cat. And this lady got out of her car and she smiled and laughed and she goes, "That was beautiful." But that's the kind of fun I love to have. And
Right.
there's nothing in life that Lewis Carroll doesn't have a quote for. So.
Yeah. I mean, if you honestly can, I love when people get angry with musicals. They'll say, no one will ever break out in song in real life. No one breaks out and dances at random. Clearly, they've never met people like us. I mean, come. Yes, I will be at work. Just either if I'm in the deli, I'm flipping a burger or stocking shelves, and I'll start randomly singing. Musicals exist.
Yeah.
I mean, but yes.
And working in an Amazon warehouse, there's all that room for your voice to just echo.
Yes, the harmonics of a big old warehouse, like the bathroom where I work, it's just somebody will be in the stall, and if I'm in the bathroom, I will start randomly singing. I don't care that they're in there because just the harmonics of that room, I'm just like, I love it.
Yes. So I was singing Phantom of the Opera songs going down the block the other day.
I will break out some TLC. No Scrubs.
Yeah. Last night I was singing the Wellerman, so.
See?
Yeah.
Clearly, people just don't know. They don't know how to have fun.
They don't.
So, this is a question I like to ask anybody, any writer, any author, honestly, anybody that reads as well. I like to ask them this question because I think this is a matter of opinion more than fact. So, what, in your opinion, what is the difference between an author and a writer?
The difference between an author and a writer is whether or not you've been published.
Okay. See, I've heard that, of course, and then I'm like, in my opinion, I honestly believe there isn't a difference because I know some are called published author, But
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, and because if you write a story, you are a write. You're a writer, obviously. And if you create a book, you're an author. If you create a poem, you're an author of that poem or a writer of that poem.
It's a matter of whether or not it's been published. To say that you're a published author is redundant.
Touche, touche. Yes. But yeah, there's multiple opinions on that, and I'm just like, well, okay. I need to take off published author off my bios.
I'm an author who has published.
Yes, I am an author who has published books that nobody buys, but I'm still excited.
Right? Look at this thing, it's mine. I have these. I brought these two out. One of the other things I did after I became an admin in our first Origins group, well, our second Origins group, technically, right? I immediately was like, we need to publish an anthology. So I got on the ball to start an anthology project. We called it Den of Thieves, and so everybody has a story in here about a thief. And I was going somewhere specific with that, but I don't remember where it was.
The mind of an author / writer.
Yeah, work. Yeah, so
It's what we do.
what were we just talking about? Redundance and publishing and stuff. Guys, I woke up too early, that's what it was. So yeah, books and things. And I publish stories.
We've got books.
And how confident I sound.
Welcome to Creators Dementia, where we have no idea what the hell we're doing.
Oh my gosh. Yep, and things. Oh wow.
And things.
I have two other stories that I published in anthologies.
Yeah.
It was going somewhere. I don't know. I'll listen to this later and go, oh, that was going with that. Now I remember.
Yeah. You're going to have to send me a message, be like, hey, put this in the description.
I remember that moment she wandered off.
So I know I didn't prepare this question beforehand, but I actually want to ask your opinion. What do you think Creators Dementia means?
Not sure.
So I came up with the title because, as a creator, I know you deal with this a lot, but, we'll have our success dreams, our failure dreams, our many voices in our heads, our go-to plans that we either fail or, actually succeed in, all the things that we plan out in our heads of the future. We don't worry about the past because we're trying to get stuff out there. But we don't exactly know where we're going to go, but we see ourselves going there. Creators Dementia.
I was thinking more like dementia, like forgetting all of things.
That too. Yes. Because yes.
That was a good segue.
Just be laying in bed. Be like, oh, that'd be an awesome idea for a story, but I got to go to sleep. I'll remember it tomorrow. No.
No. Forever.
It's gone. You should have wrote it down in your bed.
Yep. But we don't. Yep. It's part of that daydreaming.
Yes. When you're at work, do you I know if I'm at work, I picture zombie apocalypse scenarios. What would I do if I'm at work and, zombie apocalypse happens? When you're at work, where does your imagination take you? As you are in that building, you know what I'm trying to say? What would happen in that moment you were at work in that building, stuff like that. I would love to know this.
And I have the answer for this. So, when I first started working in the Amazon facility, I was just because we have the little bots. All right, I don't know if you've heard about the little bots.
Yes.
But we have the little bots, that move all the stuff around, and I would just watch them, and I was fascinated by them. I'm like, these are so amazing. They're so cool. Creating this fantasy world in my head about this labyrinth. Okay.
Mm.
And I wanted a story for it. So I've got this fantasy labyrinth in this place called Amazia, or is it Amazonia? I don't remember.
Mm.
I'm trying to find something that's not copyrighted, that is obviously like Amazon focused.
Right.
And then we have these individuals who only them are allowed to go out onto the floor to interact, because the little pods can't interact. The little pods will hit people
Mm-hmm.
if they are not set up, to be able to
Yep.
stop.
Yep.
So there's that. I'm waiting at my station for my pods to move again, and this guy pokes his head around the corner, and I wasn't even expecting him to be there. And I was like, "Oh look, the dwarves in it now." That's just what my imagination took with it. When they scrape these giant shelving units across the cement floor, it makes like this cry of a sad creature, and so now there's like this sad kind of like, or this creature trapped in the labyrinth that in my head. The conveyor systems everywhere, it turned into like a rock conveyor, not conveyor, but like slides
Mm-hmm.
to take stuff down. Like you pour it down and it all like runs where it needs to go to its buckets or whatever. So the story that I started creating from my experience in Amazon is a Christmas story, and it's for there's this terrible tragedy that happens during the season of peaks, because one day when I was at work, we were shut down during Christmas season for several hours. And it's like a travesty to be shut down for that many hours during Christmas season, because everybody needs all their Christmas presents on time, right? And we couldn't do anything because the wind was insane. So we shut down in the middle of the night, and then they opened up like 12 hours later. It was a really long time that my building was closed. Nothing was going on, nothing was coming in during Christmas season. So I was like, all right, so there's this horrible tragedy where all the magic is like gone during the season of peaks. And so now we have this adventure story where these different characters who are my coworkers end up having to go to restore the magic so that everything can go well for the season of peaks.
So you get a lot more depth than I do. I'm thinking about what food I can stow away and hide up on top of a cooler and wait for the zombies to run away. And you're like, I've got magic, bro. Don't even.
I look at people and I see werewolves, I see moles, I see dwarves, I see elves. Like, I create characters in my head based on, my surroundings.
See, now I'm envious because I would love to picture someone as an elf at work. Be like, I wonder if you got a bow staff or a mace.
Yeah. I worked some pretty nice looking people, and so elves show up in my imagination. What elves?
High priest elves.
Sylvan elves, high elves,
Rogue elves.
Rogue elves. There could be some rogue elves.
I'm going through my D&D playlist.
I like it.
Yeah, but I do know about the whole robots thing. I worked at a company called Donnelly's when I was 18, and they had they printed out magazines like the Oprah one and Maxim and all them, and they put them together. But when you put them on a pallet and stick them over in a section, these robots would come out and pick them up and take them to get bonded. And one of them actually run over my foot and got it stuck between a pallet. So yeah, I know all about them robots. I did not hear you at all.
So yeah, I work with those.
Yeah, for some reason it did not pick up on that. There was no green square. It was just like.
It's weird. Sorry. I I don't have any kind of microphone either to have been able to use to make my voice sound closer either.
Yeah. I actually got an extra microphone here, but because I'm hoping at some point I can get someone to just come here and join me, and then maybe kind of like how Tyler and Hannah do with Between Lewis and Lovecraft. I want more than just me talking on this, because I know just one person talking the entire time, people kind of get bored. So I'm hoping at some point I can create this into a duet, or just keep doing what I'm doing now, so that way maybe more people will actually be interested.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 microphones. I just don't have the complete setup like all the other professional podcasters do.
Yeah.
Okay, so coming back from trailing away again. So what genre are you most intrigued by?
I think I've answered that question.
Oh, I know. But just in case.
Just in case nobody picks up on it, I'm really, really big into fantasy.
Fantasy crossover with steampunk. Like, it doesn't get better than that, because, I mean...
No. Steampunk is a magical thing all of its own.
Yes, it is. Like, I love steampunk. I can't remember how I got into it, but I got the steampunk Bible and everything. I love it.
Nice.
I love it. I think it was just for a cosplay idea is why I got into steampunk. I really don't know.
Yeah. Maybe it was me. I probably wrote it.
Honestly, it probably was. You and Eric Morrison.
Yeah.
Because, know, he's all about the steampunk. I love it.
And he does it really well.
He really does. And I cannot wait. Spoiler alert. There's a Christmas story for Quillandia. Just so y'all know. But he's going to incorporate steampunk and Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to read it.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Steampunk in Cool Manor will be lots of fun.
Yes. So, big question. And I know it's not me, and it's okay. I understand completely. Who is your favorite author?
My favorite author is Charles Dickens.
So you went old school.
I did. I love Charles Dickens.
Okay.
The Christmas Carol, David Copperfield, Nicholas Nickleby.
Yep.
Great Expectations.
I get it. I understand. Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's when writing itself was its own poetry.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know what happened.
To be fair, David Copperfield, I stopped halfway through because I got really tired of mealy potatoes.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm done. I can't finish this book.
Yeah. Yeah. Like with the Hunger Games, do not get me wrong. I love all 3 books. I've read all 3 books, and Suzanne Collins has a way with telling a story. But the constant focus, because you said potatoes, the constant focus about what was on the table for them to eat kind of got on my nerves.
Yeah, mentioning it over and over and over.
Yes. Oh my God. Like, I get it. It's a starving United States now. And when there's good food in front of you, you're going to pay attention to it. But why mention every single taste of every single piece of food on that table?
Like every time.
Every time. They sit down at the table, they have a plate of food, and it's just a constant run-on of what it tastes like. Can't just say, oh, there's a turkey. No, you got to tell me exactly what it is, according to Suzanne Collins.
Yeah, duck it. We don't have enough money for just one turkey, so we have to put all the meat together.
Yes. It's a spam. It's a spamarky. Just a spam turkey.
Spam turkey.
I just saw a note on my desk, and it was... Oh, okay. Never mind. My wife wrote lyrics to a song, and it's just sitting on my desk. It just kind of caught me off guard. That's how much I pay attention. I ain't no telling how long it's been there.
Just now saw it. We've been talking for an hour.
Yes. It's literally... Yeah. All right, so this is one of the most important questions, because this will say a lot about how you view things. What is your favorite quote?
My favorite quote?
Yes.
So it's mine. It's mine. My quote is this:
Even better.
Beware the words penned on a page, for who knows the peril one might fall into under the influence aroused by their own imagination.
Mm. Mm. I felt that one. Mm. I like it.
Thank you.
I like it. You need to put that on the first page of the Dragon Child. That way, when I get your book, I can always have that quote.
I could print it for you.
Let's see.
In a frame. Put it on your wall.
Please. And put an awesome map with it.
There you go.
Oh, wow. We are almost through the entire list of questions.
Already?
We literally got 2 left. Yeah. Just 2.
Just 2.
Oh, nope. 3. I skipped 1.
Okay.
Found another one. Okay. So, what type of advice would you give someone who is wanting to become a writer / author?
Okay. Shut out all the noise, for Christ's sake, and just write. That's the advice. Because I watch all these people in all these writing groups ask all these questions, and they question, and they question, and they question, and they get all this advice, and I'm like, you are not them. They are not you. Just write. Yep. And after you've written and you've told the story that is in your head that only your voices know, then you can write successfully. I love the Christmas Carol movie that just came out with James McAvoy in the last couple of years, because you get to see the struggle an author has with their characters. Because Scrooge shows up and he's just kind of like that nagging voice in his head. And he's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do these things. You're going to make me like... That's how we talk to our characters, is the way that they portrayed it in this movie, where Charles Dickens had to go back and visit all of his ghosts and relive, pieces of his life in order to create the Christmas Carol. And I love watching that struggle happen on screen, because that is what we go through. We have these characters that argue with us. We have these characters that are talking to us. I know an author who has way more interaction with her characters online than she needs to. That's the struggle that we have. My high fantasy series that I'm writing, my high prince sat down with me one day and we had this conversation about how he is sick and tired of doing the same story over and over and over and over and over again, and he just wants one of his own.
Yep.
And if I were to tell somebody that way back in the 1800s, I would be in a facility. That's crazy talk. But it's becoming more and more acceptable to say, yeah, no, I have characters in my head that I'm writing that I know that, they're real characters, and we talk with each other.
Yes. Creator's Dementia.
Let your characters talk to you. Let the story happen. Quit asking if it's politically correct. Quit asking if you're meeting cultural diversity standards. Quit asking what the publishing companies want, because the readers are not the publishers. The readers are not the writers. The readers, there's going to be an audience for your story no matter what you write or how you write it. And frankly, we're all tired of the political correct. Everybody is. I hear my coworkers talk. I hear people in public talking about it. Nobody is into this thing except the ones who are constantly on the media and on the mainstream media and paying attention to everything happening in media. Those people aren't readers.
Yep.
Obviously, they're watching television. Write for your readers.
Yep. Only have your character be part of the cancel culture or politically correct if that is how their persona is.
Yes.
Do not make your entire book fitting for the media. That'll just that'll take you out of writing completely, because you will be completely upset that you did not follow your heart and your mind and your characters.
Yep. And you know what? Publishing companies are super picky, and they might not pick you anyway. So write what you want and self-publish it and market your heart out.
Exactly. Self-publishing. Yes, you might be able to get better book deals with an agent or a publisher, but it is a 1 in a million chance that they'll even recognize your book that way. So it's always my opinion, it is better to self-publish because you can do what you want.
Yes.
You
Within reason, your editor will help you, your beta readers will help you.
Right.
And then the people who love you will be honest and
Mm-hmm.
they'll say, "This is perfect."
Yes.
Or they'll say, "This sucks. Please try it."
Yeah. Fix this before you put it out there right now.
Right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, like you said, no one gives two craps about political correctness or the cancel culture unless they are completely involved in it themselves. So do not worry about it.
And they're already picky and looking for stuff specifically.
Right.
So if you're not writing in their specific genres, don't do it.
Right. Yeah. Unless that is your actual audience, go for it. Sure, why not? That's your thing. But yeah, do not follow it.
Yep.
Mm-mm.
Just write.
Just write. Just get your imagination on that paper and make yourself and the world happy.
Yep.
So, switching from the writing aspect, and because we both do love doing this, what got you into cosplay?
Plague.
The
Actually,
plague.
so before that.
Of course, the plague. I got the plague doctor mask in the back.
Yes, I have one too. No, cosplays. I love dressing up in costume for no reason. I've been an actress my whole life. The first time I actually dressed up in costume to do something was for a church event. We were having like a talent show, and so I created this Egyptian costume, spray dyed my hair black, and quoted my poem that I had written. It was my first poem I ever wrote, and I wrote it after I watched The Prince of Egypt in the movie theater. I just dated myself. I saw The Prince of Egypt in the movie theater, guys. Long time ago.
I'm right there with you. It's okay.
Yeah. So I quoted the poem in my costume. I wore my costume for a little bit while I was still able to, as you know, a child, an older child, until I grew out of it, which happened really fast because I was young. Anyway, and I love dressing up. I dressed up as a gypsy for many years when I was a child. So my fantasy influence has always been there and always taken me away to magical places. I was very into gypsies for a very long time. The Hunchback of Notre Dame was my favorite movie. I love Esmeralda.
As it should be.
Yes.
I mean, come on. It is a classic.
Right? It's a classic.
Yes.
The book is hard to read. I tried to read the book. I can't. I can read other French novels. I read The Phantom of the Opera before I saw the musical.
Mm-hmm.
I did, because I was very interested in knowing what happened. So I read the book.
Yeah.
The musical is like the book, but not.
I've never read the book, so I have no idea.
Yeah. It's really fascinating. I enjoyed that. I read that. I don't remember what, but I was reading the books and seeing the movies, or reading the books before I saw the movies. My best friend started me in that because she wouldn't let me watch the Lord of the Rings series with her until after I'd read the book. And let me tell you, it took me 3 months to get from the Shire to Rivendell because it's just so much.
The trees.
The trees eating the hobbits, Tom Bombadil, and then Tom Bombadil shows up again. I have nothing against Tom Bombadil. He's okay, but he just didn't fit with the rest of the story.
Yeah.
So when they got rid of him in the movies, that made sense to me.
Yeah.
But my favorite character is Glorfindel. They gave all of Glorfindel's parts to Arwen. I was very mad. Because Glorfindel rescues the hobbits from Weathertop, not Arwen. Yeah, so after they are going off and Aragorn's taking care of them, Glorfindel shows up. And Glorfindel's like Elrond's best friend. Get Elrond's best friend out of the movies.
See, and I feel bad for saying this, but I've not read one Tolkien book at all.
Oh.
I don't have them though.
Okay.
So
Also,
yeah,
how do you need a writer about Tolkien? He's a staple.
like my brother Scott, he was an avid reader when he was younger. Now he mostly just reads the Bible because he's a Sunday school teacher. But
Yeah.
he had The Hobbit. He had Fellowship. I mean, he didn't have them all, but he had most of Tolkien's books. And the one that he loved the most was The Hobbit. And I wanted to pick it up and I wanted to read it, but he would never let me have it because it was his book.
I guess.
So, and then I just never went and searched for him because I was like, well, if I can't read it now, why should I even try?
I've done that. When my mom turned my books that I was homeschooled, okay. So when my mom turned my reading project into a book report, I stopped reading it. So
Yeah.
I have only gotten like a third of the way into the Scarlet Letter, and I really wanted to read that, but then my mom said I needed to write a book report on it, so I've never read the rest of it.
Yeah.
I know I need to. I know I should. I liked how it started. I was reading it out loud to my stuffed animals. Like, I was enjoying the book. And then my mom said, "Oh, you should write a thing." And I was like, "I'm not reading this anymore."
So you ruined it. Thanks, Mom. Yeah, the only reason I read Scarlet Letter is because it was a requirement in high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Makes sense.
Yeah. Scarlet Letter and then Schindler's List.
Yeah, I haven't read that one either.
Oh my God, that book and the movie are both phenomenal.
I know the movie's good. And then I read The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, but I didn't see that movie. After I read the book, there's no way in heck I'm going to watch that movie.
Right. I've actually watched the movie and not read the book.
Okay.
But it was in class. We watched the movie.
Yes, because it came out back when we were in high school. You know?
Yeah.
I was in high school.
Back in the early 2000s.
Yeah. You know, dating myself again.
Oh man, we're moving up there.
Yeah.
I'll actually be 33 next month.
We have age.
Yes. In less than a month, I will be 33.
I'm only a year ahead of you.
Yeah.
I don't know if I realized that.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I was right behind you.
A year behind me.
Yeah. Yeah. When I turned 30, wasn't a big deal. I was like, okay, cool. I made it for a whole nother decade. That is awesome. And then 31 hit, and I'm like, what's going on? 32 hit, and I'm like, crap. 33 is about to hit. I'm just going to shut down.
The deal, okay? I share my birthday with Bilbo and Frodo Baggins.
Boom.
Yeah. So when I turned 33, that was like a golden year for me because that is when hobbits come of age. That's when the big birthday party happened. Frodo was turning 33. Bilbo was turning 111, right? So that was my big year.
Yes.
And I enjoyed that. I've enjoyed that moment. I've enjoyed telling everybody I'm of age as a hobbit. And then they Google it. They're like, what does that mean?
I mean, that's the best way to look at it. I mean, come on.
Share my birthday with Bilbo Baggins.
Right.
Like,
I share my birthday with Keanu Reeves.
oh, no, that's cool.
Yeah. We're Virgos.
That explains why you're such a deep thinker.
That's right. I will sit on a stoop and eat a muffin. I don't care.
I have a coworker who always shows up eating muffins. Like every day. He's got a muffin at the beginning of shift.
That is awesome.
I'm like, you should bring me a muffin.
Yes. I mean, come on. She shares a birthday with the Baggin clan. Bring her a daggone muffin.
I'll make him watch this. It'll be like, Dana, I saw your program.
Yeah. It's like, I listened to the podcast. You deserve a muffin.
Here's your muffin.
So I know I said we had another question, but basically we kind of already answered that one too. It was what kind of cosplay do you do, and you're wearing it. So yes, steampunk elf. So if you were to bring your steampunk elf cosplay into a story. Since we already answered this question, I'm gonna ask you this one instead. If you could bring this cosplay into a story, what would be the name? What kind of world would they live in? I mean, it's pretty obvious, but and also, would they have a love interest?
Oh, there would definitely be a love interest. My love in I should not say that. I'm not gonna say that.
Mm. Mm.
Oh snap! I almost said it. I'm not gonna say it. There would definitely be a love interest.
I think I might know what kind of love interest that would be, but
I have a type.
Yes,
And
you do.
I need to not say that publicly. Oh my gosh. So anyway. Yeah, there would be a love interest. And they would be charming and dashing and exciting. And then it would be the steampunk world, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
There would be magic because I can't do anything without magic.
Yeah.
I really can't, which is why I can't write in the real world. I have written in the real world, like I wrote short stories.
Mm-hmm.
They're just not fun. They're not as fun. Like I have to use what I know, but I would rather make stuff up,
Yeah.
So I make stuff up. And her name, I really like the name Aethel, but so Aethel.
Okay.
That might be her name. And I did try to start to write. You've watched Onward, right?
Yes, I have.
Okay. I tried to start a story about an elf in college who's going to medical school because she comes from a long family of healers,
Mm-hmm.
right? And she is really, really, really sick of the fact that the world is explored and there's nothing to see and there's nothing to do. And I'm like, I'm writing about me right now and I am not interesting. And so I didn't feel like the story was interesting. And it didn't
You
go
are interesting.
anywhere.
You're on this podcast.
I'm on the podcast.
Not only because you're my friend and you're awesome, but you are interesting. People need to know this.
Oh, thank you. I don't feel like I'm interesting. Like, I don't. It's real life is bland, and that's why I live in my imagination, right?
So, I mean, and that's one of the most interesting things about you. You can literally escape just with your mind. You do not have to drive down the road to a Starbucks to feel like you are getting away from the world. You can literally just sit on your couch and just be like, steampunk.
Yeah. It's true.
It is true.
I can be in my Amazon facility, and I'm making up this like magical world all around me. So
yes.
Yeah, I get it. I understand what you're saying.
You are in your own way a goddess that creates worlds. That is a very interesting thing.
Thank you.
Somebody just pulled in my driveway.
Oh.
I will be right back because I don't know who this is.
Okay.
Intermission. Oh, okay. We're good. They're using my driveway as a turnaround.
Oh.
I was like, get out of here. I don't like people that much. And yet I work with the public, so yay me.
I do too.
Don't you just love it? Okay. Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
I'm an introvert.
Okay. Why is it that when introverts literally have to do a job, we always end up in the public?
Because I don't know. So when we went through the Enneagram study, I am very solidly a 4. All right, I'm a creative. We all know that. Solidly a 4. I lean into 5 for basically everything, but at work I am a 3. I am all about like selling myself, and being boisterous and being exciting and making sure that everybody's having a good time and is comfortable. All
Yep.
right.
Yep.
And so at work, I'm very much in that I need to play up who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And it's exhausting. So when I come home, I'm like, okay, now I'm in my little bubble and
Mm-hmm.
I can stay in my little bubble and nobody has to know anything about me. But at work, I'm a completely different person because I care about people. I want people to feel comfortable. I want them to stay. I want them to know that somebody is taking care of them and looking out for them. I have a coworker who has joined another team, but the only reason why they did it was because they didn't want to work a certain day for mandatory overtime. And so they come back to me and ask me for help because they know I'm going to help them.
Yep.
Like, that is the kind of person I want to be. And it's really, really hard to sell yourself every day, and some
Yep.
days you're just like, I can't do this anymore. And then you know that you're a fraud because if they're going to be with you in public, you're going to like be quiet and sit
Yes.
down.
Yes.
Awkward, and I
Yes.
don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're together in this moment talking
Yeah.
because I only talk to you at work.
It's like, right now we're having a conversation. We have just kept going. So, we have little moments of pauses, but that's just natural. My wife asked me the other day. We was driving. She said, "Why is it that when we're at home, you can talk, we can talk about whatever, but when we're driving, you don't say a word. We just drive." And I'm like, I don't know. It's just I'm in my own bubble when I'm driving. I don't get it.
Have me time.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
weird. I can, like, the next town is called Glasgow. It's roughly 30 minutes away.
Okay.
I will drive with her in the truck all the way to Glasgow and not say a word.
I get that. I understand what that is. That you're in your zone. You're in your moment. You're having
Mm-hmm.
your time.
Yes.
Right? Even though she's there, you're having your time.
Yes.
And I'm also guilty of that kind of stuff. Like in the car rides, on trips, family vacations and stuff. I was watching all the scenery. I should have been writing, but I was watching all the scenery go by, imagining all my elves playing in the forest as we're going. I can
Mm-hmm.
see bears through the trees. I can see deer and moose, and I'm watching. When I lived in Amarillo, Texas, I would watch for prairie dogs to poke up out of the ground. Like, I was so interested in everything going on around me. I would
Yep.
talk for a little bit, but then I just wanted to get lost.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah. I
And
feel.
Mary, I understand that. I'm so sorry. And it's a thing. It's a real thing.
Yes. Like, I feel like, after certain minutes go by, I will feel bad because I'm not saying a word, but yet I don't have anything to say.
Yeah.
So I fight with myself. I'm like, should I be talking right now? Because this is probably a boring car ride for her. And then I'll turn and I'll start to try to say something. Silence. Nothing. I'm like, maybe she'll talk in a minute. So I'll just continue driving.
That's so funny. So, Mary, if you've learned anything from this, it's you need to start the conversation
Yes.
because
Because I will not. It's sad. And I've tried to work on it, I promise. But it just doesn't happen.
That's funny. Yeah, no, you're in your zone.
Yeah.
Need that moment.
Yeah.
There, that little meme that's like, it's got the little character, the cartoon, it's got the little character in it, and she goes, okay, I'm ready. And she runs with her arms out, and she's screaming, and she runs all the way to the wall, and she comes back, and she's like, okay, I did it. It's like, that is how an introvert feels in the workplace where you have to, like, sell yourself in a completely different personality.
Yeah.
You go out, you touch the wall, and you come back, and you're like, okay,
I did it.
the thing.
Yes.
I'm good now. And
I
I walk the floors at work and I listen to all the things that my associates say and how much they love to be on my team and how much they love to work with me. And I'm just like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Because I don't get it. I'm just treating you like a human being. Why is that so great? And then, I mean, I know why it is, but
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it just I don't know. I'm
I,
like, I'm not this person. I'm really not.
yeah. I've
I'm
all.
only this person at work.
I've often wondered if that was just me, because like I said, I feel bad, but then, thank you, thank you.
Yes, it's a part of who we are. We're
Yes.
those number fours
Yeah.
that would rather be a five, but we lean into that three so that
Yeah.
you know. Yep.
Kind of like working in customer service. You have your customer service voice, you have your regular voice, and then you have your loving voice.
Yes.
I hate. My face gets sore every day because of the constant. I just constant smiles. I don't mind smiling, but I'm not a constant smiler, and I have to be when I'm in front of customers. My face hurts a lot. It sucks. Oh me. Well, we did go through the entire list of questions, so I hope it was fun, because I've enjoyed it. I have enjoyed this entire time. Is there anything you want to talk about at all?
My mind just went blank.
See, there it is. We're just gonna be driving now.
We're driving.
We'll see you on 30 minutes.
Hey, there's all my energy. It's gone. Do you have anything? No. I feel like we said it all.
Yes.
I wanted to mention the Christmas Carol movie, and I got an opportunity to mention the Christmas Carol movie, and
Boom.
I had wanted to mention my anthology books and forgot why I was mentioning my anthology books.
Books and things.
Books and things. My profile we just went to Slack as our main source of communication at work. And so my profile on Slack has my picture in the break room, and it says, "Say what you do," and I said, "I do things and stuff." In my little description of who I am. I do things.
I do things and stuff. That would be a great bar name. I do things and stuff. Let's go there.
Oh, here's a good question. This is a good question. And I'm just going to throw it into there. If I ever had the opportunity to open up a random business, I would want to have a bar where all of the songs that they did were from the 40s.
The 40s?
Yes.
Why the 40s?
Because I grew up in black and white movies.
Okay, out of the entire decade of songs in the 40s, which one wouldn't mind having on repeat?
Not repeat. Irene Dunn. Irene Dunn would be on repeat all the time.
And say I feel bad because I have no idea who that is.
Yeah. I am an unusual character.
Once again, interesting.
Thank you. I don't even think about these things,
Yeah. See, it's the little things that some people can pay attention to. It's like, I don't think I'm interesting at all. I think I'm pretty boring. And then somebody be like, and somebody be like, "Oh, you dress up as Captain America?" Like, yeah, like that's cool. It's like, okay, I am a little interesting, I guess.
You're very cool. And then you cosplay in these outfits with other people.
Yes.
Yes. And you're selling yourself. I get it. You and I are like the same.
Yes.
We're just, a male and female version.
Right. Yeah. I honestly wish more people would. I would love to do LARP. I would love it. But nobody around here gets it.
I know. I'm going to Steampunk Day for Ren Fair on Saturday. The day that this is going to be airing, I'll be at Ren Fair in Steampunk.
Yes.
So part of me is thinking about going to work on Sunday nights in Steampunk.
In Steampunk. Yes. I love that kid. Okay, I don't even know how long we've actually been talking, to be honest. I don't have a timer.
Well, it's 4:42. We started at 3.
Cool. Sweet. I'll take it. Alrighty.
This has been enjoyable.
Yes. Like I said, I could honestly have conversations like this throughout my entire days and never be bored.
Right?
It's like, somebody wants to talk about the zombie apocalypse. I am all for it. Somebody wants to talk about God. I am all for it. Somebody wants to talk about superheroes. I am there. It's the boring conversations that get me where it's like, oh, did you hear on the news about the president doing this? I'm like, I don't care.
Watch the news.
Yes. Like, I will, I will answer, I will talk about it, of course, if I've heard about it. But like us, we are more interested in the creative aspect of life rather than the crap news that we got to deal with on a daily basis.
Yeah. That's why I go to fantasy worlds in my head, because real life sucks.
Yes, it really does. So, before I do the closing, I do want to ask one more thing.
All right.
Oh, two more things, because it depends on how you answer this first one. Have you ever been to Comic-Con?
Been to a mini Comic-Con. Yes.
A what?
A mini Comic-Con?
Oh, mini. Oh, okay. I just said a May Comic-Con. I was like, does that mean it was in May?
No. Mini, like it was little.
Little. A mini Comic-Con. Okay, so what did you go as?
Sadness
When as what?
from Inside Out.
Oh, okay. Okay. I caught the last part of that name. I was like, wait, what? And then as soon as you said Inside Out, got it.
Yep,
Aha.
Sadness.
I love that movie.
I do too. I love Sadness.
Yes. Yes. Sadness. That I don't care what anybody says that movie. Just like Firefly, it should never stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I could talk about Firefly all day long too. So. But,
I loved Inside Out and Sadness because the toxic positivity is too much, and we have to accept that it sucks. And I have empathy for everybody. I can always feel the energy in the building, like at work.
yes.
So when everything's bad, I feel that. When everything is good, I feel that. I try to interact with like other people and feel out how they're doing before I interact with them. And some people, it's just really easy to get lost talking to them. And some people, it's like, okay, I haven't figured out what we are, and I will not talk to you because you don't want to talk to me, and so I don't. You know?
Yes. Yes. And a lot of people do not know that being an empath is completely freaking draining.
It is.
Oh my! I'll walk into work, and if there's a bad vibe, I'm just my social level is down.
And you feel like you're a crazy person because you have no reason to be upset, and you don't know why everybody is upset.
Yeah.
And you're trying not to get dragged into that.
Yes, it sucks so bad. I can, like, I'll walk in, I feel it, and I'm like, okay, something's up. I'll go to my boss, and I'm like, everything okay? And then here comes the story of something that went wrong, and everybody's pissy or irritated, and I'm like, that's why I feel like crap right now.
And then you're trying not to get dragged into it on your own. Yeah.
Yeah, and then and what sucks the most is it follows you home.
Yeah.
And it's horrible.
It does.
But yes, we could actually have another conversation about that at another time. About being an empath. We will do another episode down the road about being an empath. Because that alone is worth a movie.
Yes.
Jeez. And a lot of people think it actually is crazy that someone can feed off of somebody else's vibes. But it's actually not crazy. It will literally it will literally tear you down.
It really, really does.
Yes.
Because you're like, I am worked up. Why am I worked up? I don't have anything to be worked up about, but I am worked up right now.
Yes. I just woke up, got dressed, and went to work. What the hell is going on?
Yeah.
It's horrible. Oh, man. Well, I do believe that should be it for this episode of Creators Dementia. Did you like it? Did you have fun?
I did. I had a lot of
So, yes, this is Dana Woods, a.k.a. Lady of the Woods. Now you know why we call her that. And that is literally her. I did it again. I said literally. I'm done. I can't talk anymore. I'm done. That is her character in Tales from Quillandia, and that is also her persona.
Yes.
So,
My hope.
oh, and before I do the complete closing, tell them the title of your story in Tales from Quillandia. You might have, pull the book out. It's cool.
I'm like, I don't remember. What did I say? I called it There's a First Time for Everything.
Boom. Say, now then, say if any of you have not read the book, it's a first time for everything. Read the book.
Here we go.
So many great authors are in there, and it's literally amazing, and it's pure fantasy. I've never written fantasy before until that story, but of course I did incorporate my apocalypse fetish with it, but you know. But it's fantasy. It's very apocalyptic. I don't understand what's wrong with me. Everything I do
is the last story in the book.
Yes, is the last story in the book, and I love it because it's apocalyptic and it's literally the end of the book.
Yeah.
I love that Tyler put it there.
Did that? I lined
you
up.
You did that.
Yes.
Booyah! Just learned something new, and that book's been out for almost a year.
Yeah. Yep. It'll be a year. We should have a party.
Yes. What was it?
We should find out what our sales were.
Yeah. Was it September 15th? Is that right?
Somewhere between 5 and 12. I don't remember what
5
specific.
And 12. Okay. I couldn't remember. I know I got a picture of it somewhere on my Facebook, but I could not remember.
Yeah.
Where'd I get the 15th from?
I don't know, but it's one of those days.
Something's going to happen on September 15th. That's what it is.
Okay.
Something's going to happen.
All right.
My name's going to be put on New York's bestseller list. But yes, that is all for this episode of Creators Dementia interview with Dana Woods, author of a book that's coming out at some point, The Dragon Child. Author of First Time for Everything, a story inside Tales from Quillandia. Author of a story in The Den of Thieves. I don't know what it's called, so go ahead. Oh, let's say that again. Couldn't hear it.
I'm sorry.
There you go.
The Precious Jewel.
The Precious Jewel. And
yes.
Didn't you have another book in your hand?
I did, yeah. That one is called Greedy Gamble.
Greedy Gamble.
Yeah.
And where can they find all of your work right now?
So right now, most of my available stuff that you can get is on onlybyyourblood.wordpress.com because I put my creative writing, my poetry. I have two mini series that I started that ended up on there. They're very neglected because the last couple of years have been difficult personally. Mm-hmm. But these two books are out of print. So you can only get them if I send you an exclusive PDF. And then at some point I want to, republish the stories. The Den of Thieves story, The Precious Jewel, is a bigger story that I started expanding on, which is terribly fun. I want to eventually finish that. I don't know if I ever will. Another one of the perks of being a writer. So we have all these ideas and they don't all get out there.
No, and it sucks.
It does.
I really wish I could find my 3rd grade story about the turkey, the witch, and the magician.
Oh, that sounds fascinating.
I love that story, but I can't find it anywhere.
Oh.
First short story I ever wrote. and it was like 1 page long.
Okay.
I was in 3rd grade.
Right.
I tried. But yes, that is all for this episode of Creators Dementia interview with Dana Woods. I know I said it many times, and I'll say it many times again, just so you all know exactly what I'm talking about, so you can go find her. Do you have any blogs or anything out there besides books that you would want people to pay attention to? I know you got your maps, and I will put that link down wherever I can put it, because I know there's descriptions and there's comments and stuff like that, so it will be down there. But is there anything else you want people to notice?
Buyyourblood.wordpress.com.
That one. Yes, I know you said buy your blood, and I'm just like,
You're like, what are you talking about now?
Who's bleeding?
Who's bleeding?
Am I bleeding? Oh no.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you, Dana, for this. This has been awesome, and hopefully I can have you back, because, like I said, we're going to talk about empathy at some point. So.
Yeah, no, I'll totally be back. We'll talk about personality types, and we'll talk about empathy, and it will be a great experience.
There we go. Is there any final words or advice that you would like to give to the handful of listeners I possibly have?
Be awesome. Stay awesome. There's only one of you.
See, it's been said here first. So you heard it here first. That means you got to take that information with stride and use it in your daily life.
Yes.
I actually changed my name on my phone, because instead of Siri or Alexa, I've got Bigsby, and it's called Bigsby. I have no idea where it came from, but I have that little AI calling me Awesome Sauce just for fun. But that is all we have for today. Thank you very much for listening. God bless. Have a good weekend. I hope you all have enjoyed this episode. There will be more to come. I have hopefully more interviews lined up, so maybe it won't just be me talking all the time, and you guys won't get so bored as I say you probably do. But you gotta admit, it's pretty fascinating to hear. Thank you all very much. Have a good weekend. Look, I'm a zombie.